Afternoon.
Afternoon.
PG, from a pass rush standpoint, what do you guys think you guys need to do to improve on that?
Say it one more
From a
time.
pass rushing standpoint, what do you feel like you need to improve on that area?
Pass rusher goes hand in hand with the coverage, so I got to do a better job of creating opportunities for the guys in terms of just tying together the coverage and the rush, and then and then it comes down to those guys working together and win their individual battles when it comes up, whether the slides one way or the other, but really got to tie it all together a little better on my standpoint.
What have you seen from Cam Ward as you watch him?
You see it, he has a live arm. He definitely has a live arm. He made a couple really good seam throws throughout the year. Has real good command of the offense for a rookie in terms of the check system they're using. You can see him doing that. I thought they did a good job with that. And then the poise at the end of the game, last game, you saw that come through. Crazy situations and circumstances, how they won, but it was just really, you saw some poise there at the end. The throw down there in the 4 minute or the two minute that turned into 4 minute was a pretty good throw on the sideline.
Do you get the sense he's better out of structure at this point in his career?
A lot of the quarterbacks right now are doing a good job because they're so athletic. It's a little bit different than when I first got in the league, but there's so many guys that can make plays out of the pocket when the protection breaks down. I've seen him make the quick, easy throws from a three-step standpoint, getting the ball out on time, but a lot of the explosive plays have been with him moving around. So you can see a combination of the two.
When you're dealing with that as a defensive coordinator with quarterbacks with mobility, does that change sometimes whether it's a man look for you or a zone coverage look? And what are the dangers of playing a man cover against that?
Well, it depends on what type of man you're talking about. There's man where you might have a spy on the quarterback, which you're accounting for the quarterback. You have to do that because you're assuming the coverage players have their eyes turned away. And there's man where you might be playing with too high. And that, everybody calls that two man. That's when it gets most dangerous. That's when it gets most dangerous. So a quarterback like that might limit you from being able to do that. So you stay away from those coverages because you're like, everybody's got their back turned, but you definitely have to take it into account. And in zone you have to take it into account, and then you can't lose it when they scramble. But you can see he's doing a good job playing in the pocket, and then when he gets out, getting his eyes down the field and throwing the ball.
Calvin Ridley had a big week last week. What stands out to you about his game and what makes him a tough cover?
Just the familiarity with him from previous years in terms of the speed, the quickness, the ability to get vertical into the defense really quick, whether it's the slants or the seam balls, and you could tell by how they're moving them around. Obviously, the intelligence in terms of how they can scheme him up. So he's one of those guys, I would assume that he's a scheme guy in terms of you try to put him here for a matchup, you try to put him here to stress the defense out. So, very talented player with good speed and quickness, and he could beat you just like that. So you got to be mindful of that.
We're seeing more and more of Darian Porter. What have you seen with him just getting better each week?
He works really hard in the classroom. He's real diligent in terms of his pre-practice, in terms of working his technique. You're seeing technique improvement overall. And, he has the traits. He's long, he's fast, he has an element of toughness to him. He's learning to tackle better. That was the main thing I wanted to see from him. And he's growing into his frame. He's a tall, linear guy who's growing into his frame. You got to think about it. He hasn't been playing defensive back for a long time, so it's been interesting to see him grow, and just looking forward to seeing it improve.
What was your reaction to the team moving on from Jermaine Pratt?
Just again, Coach already talked about that. So love having good players around, and then it is what it is when we make decisions.
Who do you look forward to step up in his absence?
I'm looking forward to the defense just stepping up, just in general. Just linebacker position. It's going to take all 11 out there. We'll see who's out there playing and things of that nature. But it's going to take a good effort to replace a good player like that.
A young quarterback like Caillou, teams are going to challenge them a lot. How do you feel like he's responded to that?
The way a football player is supposed to respond at this level, get back to work, grind at it. You can't play cornerback in this position and not have in this league and not have a short memory. Again, when you see it on tape, someone getting beat, it's not just one person's fault usually. So they gotta have a short memory, move on. And thankfully, he gets 17 of these opportunities, and This is week 6, and it's time to go. Everybody's hungry for a win.
Hey,
A couple of days ago, Pete Carroll mentioned that Charles Snowden was a guy that he was expected to also step up for Jermaine. When you look at Charles Snowden, kind of what he's been doing in that outside linebacker type of position, what have you seen from him that you really liked?
The one thing that Snow did a great job of last year and has continued, we asked him the physicality to show us that. He has the length, he has all the measurables. We wanted to see the physicality, and he's answered that in terms of displaying it in practice, throughout training camp, and even when he got into the game. So that's a positive. And then to have the flexibility as an outside linebacker to be able to play coverage, rush, be productive in terms of batted balls. This guy, he got his hand on the ball last week. He does it in practice all the time. And then I honestly think the big guys, especially the edge guys like the Max, the Malcolms, their energy is contagious. So he's a great energy guy in terms of how he works out there on the field. He's vocal, works hard, he flies around the field. When you see those long bodies flying around the field, it picks up the defense, picks up the team. So.
Pat, how do you work on improving on third downs? Is it practicing situational football? Is it play calling? How do you work on that?
The thing focused on make it less manageable third downs. Like you look at last week, I don't know, like 5 or 6 of them were like 4 or less. So to me, it's me doing a better job of those 2nd and 10s that we're forcing and get them to be 3rd and 10s. So that it starts there, and then putting the players in the best position to execute for what they do best. But really took a hard look at those 2nd down plays because we're forcing a lot of 2nd and 10s because the guys are doing a good job on the run game on 1st and 10. They're staying back on the early down pass game in terms of no shots. So do a better job there with those 2nd downs.
The defense has caused some tip balls and some batted balls, like you mentioned with Snowden, but they're not coming up with the turnover. Is that just it's coming, it's going to come in bunches, or how do you generate more of those turnovers?
Here's what I would tell you. I'm so tired. I'm trying to be mindful of my language of talking about whatever it is. We got to do it. That's how they feel. We got to do. So I could talk about we're doing this, that. We just got to make it happen. Got to take the ball away. However it happens, that's what we got to do. So that's how I'm talking to him. You can see my whole mood and demeanor change. Done talking, we got to do. So we're unlucky. I mean, the language I would use right now, F that. But no, we got to do. That's what says just win, baby. You just got to do it. That's what we got to do.
Okay, guys.
Right?
Thank you.